Hey everyone, Rarity Dash here, and it's time for another reaction request. If you have a video that you'd let me react to, check the description below. There's a link that'll take you to a Google document with all of the relevant information. So today we have a video titled Mystery in a Game Over Screen by Nexpo. And immediately I'm pretty intrigued by that title, Mystery in a Game Over Screen. I'm guessing this is going to be pretty much exactly what it says, and we're going to be talking about some sort of mystery hidden in like a game over screen of a particular game. Yeah, that could be good. I like gaming mysteries. That's kind of an interesting topic. We've looked at some before in the past, notably that Kanye Quest thing that I reacted to, and that was definitely a really deep mystery. I don't know what this one's going to be about, but hopefully this will be interesting as well. I guess we'll have to bring this up, take it full screen, get this started, and see. Here we go.
Today's video is sponsored by you.
Okay,
As
cool.
you guys know, these types of videos...
Sponsoring videos. I'm really moving up in the world.
If you like the content I put out or would like to help support the channel, head over to patreon.com/Nexpo, and if you're able, throw me a couple bucks. There, you'll gain various perks, such as early access to videos while I wait for YouTube to review them, sneak peeks, your name in the end credits, and admission to my official Discord server. If you can't, trust me, don't worry about it. I truly appreciate all of you for just being here. It means the world to me. Anyway, cool. I love you. And let's get to it.
Console conspiracies. And definitely bringing in the spooky atmospheric music here. Graphic imagery that may be distressing. Viewer discretion is advised. Okay, we're there for it.
Game over. A staple of every video game, old and new, as a vehicle to convey to the player that their efforts failed, that they didn't finish the task before them. Whether it's by running out of stamina, veering off the expected course, or by simply failing to complete a mission in time, it's safe to assume that anyone that's ever played a video game has experienced this message at some point in their lives. Video games are a work of art, relics of fiction, presumably handcrafted by one or more developers that have carried a vision within their minds of the story that they set out to convey. The expectation that comes with this centers on the principle that everything, or the vast majority of everything that's presented to you from the second you press that power button, is merely entertainment, created to drive an interactive experience from the mind of the creator to you. But that isn't always the case. As a matter of fact, there's a video game out there that seems to have implemented something that,
Happy Soft?
at first glance, appears to be fully real, sending the morbidly curious down a years-long hunt to find out if that's actually the case. A game over screen, and a depiction of death that's veered all too close to the brink of reality.
Okay.
This is the story of Hong Kong 97.
Huh. Hong Kong 97.
Let's back it up a few years. I'm sure you've heard of a man by the name of James Rolfe.
I definitely have. Reacted to several of his videos.
The angry video game nerd. Rolfe has, since the mid-2000s, personally brought me many nights of joy, laughter, and nostalgia in his many series, even aside from his portrayals as the nerd.
Yeah, he seems like a great guy just overall.
You know it's bullshit, to Bored James, to rental reviews. Rolfe has had no shortage of wildly entertaining series that carry this unique charm, evident from the outset of his historical tenure online. So far, the angry video game nerd has over 170 episodes at the time of writing, admittedly something that's incredibly impressive for a series held primarily online. Out of all of these, though, there's one from March of 2015, episode 134, that introduced me to a video game curiously titled Hong Kong 97.
Definitely an interesting name for a game.
To take care of business once again. Apparently, there is a game worse than big rigs. Worse than Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Worse than Crazy Bus or Desert Bus. It is known as Hong Kong 97, and I've been getting requests for it up the ass. The requests are so far up the ass, it's time to shit them out.
The episode isn't very long. As a matter of fact, it's one of the shorter ones because there really isn't that much to the game. The story is absolute chaos, the gameplay is utter garbage, and it's just
nice
an all-around
product
slog to
placement,
play
though.
through. At least according to James. Anyway, one of the major lowlights of the episode occurs about halfway in. The nerd's doing his thing, ripping this game apart as he plays it. And then he encounters something.
Oh.
The game over screen.
Yeah, that's
real looking death.
Yeah.
One hit and the game's over. Why would I expect anything more? No. Oh. I hope that's not a real dead body. No. There's no way they'd have such bad taste. That's gotta be an actor. Or we're looking at some guy who died on that date and time in 1992.
Oh, wow. Even as the timestamp.
After this grim segment, it's back to business for the remainder of the episode. Rolf gets back into the swing of things and strings together jokes that were admittedly pretty clever. After doing a couple minutes of critical thinking, formulating ties between the game's reliance on the future and the year 1997, he eventually comes to the conclusion that the game Hong Kong 97 is equivalent to dog shit before drawing this episode to a close. And so it begins.
Yeah.
Apart from the realm of crude humor and lighthearted jokes, the widespread interest in Hong Kong 97 was merely beginning to take root. The game was developed in 1995 by a studio simply known as Happysoft. This, in actuality, is comprised of just one enigmatic man by the name of Yoshihisa Kurosawa, who we'll get more into later. Apparently,
so it is Japanese
this entire
made.
thing was designed and developed in the short span of just 7 days, and going off the crude nature of the gameplay, I personally fully believe it. Anyway, the story for Hong Kong 97 seems as if it was one massive shitpost that was way before its time.
I can kind of see that.
In upfront storyboard format, it's nothing short of comically insane. But my description doesn't do it justice. Just look. So we start the game up and see the title screen. After clicking start, we're met with a message that seems like it's marketing? Anyway, pressing through that, you're met with this.
Yeah, that's kind of
The
weird.
year 1997 has arrived. A herd of fucking ugly reds are rushing from the mainland. Crime rates skyrocketed. Hong Kong is ruined. Therefore, the Hong Kong government called Bruce Lee's relative, Chin, for the massacre of the Reds. Chin is a killer machine. Wipe out all 1.2 billion of the Red communists. However,
Okay.
in mainland China, there was a secret project in progress. A project to transform the deceased Tong Xiaoping into an ultimate weapon. Yeah. Anyway,
Man.
you then realize that our main character Chin is actually Jackie Chan, and Tong Xiaoping is Dong Xiaoping. The game then starts, and it's a top-down shooter that has you battling a literal endless wave of communists before you finally reach the aforementioned killing machine, the head of Tong Xiaoping.
That's
The
great.
game only lasts about 5 minutes total in length, however repeats itself over and over each time you defeat the final boss, giving the illusion that it's much longer than it actually is. Oh yeah,
Wonderful
and the
design.
soundtrack is absolute fire.
Oh. Yeah, this doesn't seem to quite fit.
So, with all of the insanity that's been presented to us thus far in regards to Hong Kong 97, the game over screen was the primary catalyst that kept people actually talking about it.
Yeah.
This disturbingly mysterious in-game was something
see
that
why that would be a case.
Place. But we're probably overthinking this anyway. This couldn't be real, could it?
I don't know.
The Reddit Bureau of Investigation, October 10th of 2018.
Reddit Bureau of Investigation.
Is that a real corpse in the game over screen of Hong Kong 97? Here's the screen I refer to. So there's a notorious homebrew video game called Hong Kong 97. It was released on the Super Nintendo and is only playable through emulation, as no physical copies of this game exist. It's made by a company that doesn't actually exist. Now, I wonder, is that a real dead body? This has haunted me ever since I heard about this game. It looks real, with the time codes and everything, and the position of the body. It's really creepy and disturbing to look at. The whole game itself is a mystery, to be honest. Just the shadiness of the company makes me think it's real. Heading back in time 3 years further, we have another. The video game Hong Kong 97's game over screen presents a photo of a dead man. It has a timestamp in the photo and appears to be a home video. No original video found. Some say this was a real murder shown to people through the game. The only known picture of this man is from the game itself.
Okay.
As we can see, discussion about Kurosawa's insane creation was hot, and for good reason. The image is disturbing. It's
well, they know
gruesome,
his name,
it seems
so
extremely out of place for something like this. Banking on the fact that this entire game was created in just 7 days, it seems unlikely that Kurosawa would take on the liberty and monetary obligation to stage a scene like this. So what are we working with? Let's break it down. Before us, we have a photo of a man that appears to have been shot more than once. He seems to have a tattoo on his right arm and has either dark brown or black hair and a beard. At the top, we can see a time code of sorts, preceded by the letters T, C, and R. On the bottom left, though, we're able to notice a date and time. 1731, or 5:31 p.m. on August 6th of 1992. Either that, or June 8th of 1992.
yeah, it is.
Before we continue, I want to point out something.
It is
Back
reversed
during
in a
the
lot of
era of
countries.
VHS camcorders, the vast majority of them denoted the date and time at the bottom corner of the screen. It's essentially common knowledge by this point, but this implies that this is not a still image. This is from video. Even further supporting this is the code at the top. TCR. According to Wikipedia, TCR timecode, or burnt-in timecode, is a human-readable on-screen version of the timecode information for a piece of material superimposed on a video image. Timecode is sometimes used in conjunction with real machine-readable timecode, but more often used in copies of original material onto a non-broadcast format such as VHS, so that the VHS copies can be traced back to their master tape and the original timecodes easily located.
Okay.
This effectively cements the fact that this originated from video, further implying that Kurosawa must have ripped this from somewhere. But where? All we have to go off of is this still frame, a time and a date at the bottom left. Expanding on that, I previously mentioned that this was either on August 6th or June 8th of 1992. However, at this point, I'm beginning to lean towards the latter, as I've noticed an inconsistency. The game takes place in Hong Kong. However, Kurosawa lives in Japan. Both regions use the same date formats, which is the year, followed by the month, followed by the day.
Yeah.
Furthermore, they both use a 24-hour clock. While the time notation lines up with what we see in the frame, the date format doesn't. If we're assuming that the month is first, then that narrows us down to just 3 countries that currently use it: the United States, Canada, and Micronesia. The only catch, all 3 of them use a 12-hour timecode and not the 24-hour clock as it's denoted in the game over screen. Many also realized this, and after digging, the major contender of origin essentially became narrowed down to Europe. It employs the matching date and time formats, in turn sparking the hunt to not only figure out if this were real, but who exactly this was.
Alright.
Throughout the years, a name's popped up. Back during the early days of this investigation, many YouTube commenters, GameFAQs forum posters, and Redditors alike arrived at the harmonious agreement that the Game Over screen depicted this man. Leszek was a Polish boxer that died on August 6th of 1992 by grief-stricken suicide. Surprisingly, online information about him is scant, but for some odd reason, people were dead set on the theory that the person in this game was him.
Just because of the date.
The dates match up, they both look the same, and Blezinski must have committed suicide by gun, right? Right? Well, no.
Yeah,
I'm going to assume that the reason this happened was so people could have a name to attach this to. A sense of success that they finally put the cap on this mystery. Ironically though, this leaves obvious details overlooked that severely weaken the tie to Blezinski altogether. August 6th of 1992 was the date of his death, right? Interesting, because we just finished making the connection that the date is actually incorrect. It was on June 8th. Furthermore, performing a search on any sort of life backstory on this guy drums up results that are few and far between. You're able to find a bare-bones Wikipedia page, a few basic online biographies, and a flood of conspiracy theories linking this man to Hong Kong 97. I've been digging into him for a while, and I haven't been able to find any sort of video footage of his death, or even him at all for that matter, so I'm finding it extremely hard to believe that Kurosawa had dug this incredibly obscure footage up in the matter of days. That is, unless he mysteriously had a VHS on hand, but that doesn't logically add up considering their regions. And that fast, by ruling out Blezinski, we're back to square one.
Yeah.
Throughout 2018, a plethora of posts and videos would spring up, further theorizing on this. Interestingly, the Blezinski theory was criticized by many, as it did appear to be a substantial reach. At the time, it was widely accepted, but crudely unsatisfactory. Things were silent, up in the air. Until July 26th of 2019.
Okay, pretty recent.
That day, a niche YouTube channel by the name of Ramtro Studios would upload a video titled, "We Found the Hong Kong 97 Body. Warning, graphic content." In the video, he essentially discusses how we've been theorizing on this for years, and how he's finally found the answer. Thanks to a Mayo Sucks 69, Ramtro was contacted with the following. "Hello, I've been searching for your contact info on your YouTube profile and came across your Bandcamp. It's in a Japanese Mondo film called Death File. It happens at 2837. Interestingly, the video is still up on YouTube. He showed in the latter half of the video that searching up Death File brings up a ton of results. However, out of all of them, one would be an outlier. "18 and up, Archivos da Morte, Guerra, or Death File, War." Opening the video brings you to a warning screen, a graphic content gateway that was requested by the uploader, Okayo98. It appears
still on
to have been
YouTube,
uploaded to their channel on January 16th of 2017 and merely rests in a playlist curiously titled Shockumentary. That's honestly what Death File seems to be. According to a filmow.com, the description of this 60-minute episode reads the following. "Welcome to the cruel world. Extreme life and death situations that happen every day around the world, captured by amateur journalists and videographers with great courage and nerves of steel. Watch if you dare." Fast forwarding to 2837, Indeed reveals that this man is, in fact, the one in the Game Over screen of Hong Kong 97. It's from a segment about the Bosnian War, a grueling conflict that took place between April of 1992 and December of 1995, resulting in over 100,000 deaths. Out of those 100,000, it's safe to assume that one of those, unfortunately, was this man. Perhaps Kurosawa was a fan of Death File. Maybe he had it playing while he coded the game and snapped a quick picture. We honestly don't know, and probably never will.
Again, we know his name,
given
so...
by him in January of
Okay, here we
2018. He claims the following. Every day I get questions on Facebook from all around the world, from people I've never heard of, asking things like, who does the corpse at the end of the game belong to? People have started to read too much into the game, and they've made up their own new mystery surrounding it. The entire setting and context was just stuff I made up as I went along. The questions are endless, so I just ignore them all.
Fair enough.
Thanks to the nerd, Hong Kong 97 was launched into the limelight and shook the online world, leading everyone on a years-long hunt for answers. While we may never know the who or the how behind this disturbing image, it's satisfying to, at the very least, finally uncover its origin. According to Kurosawa, the goal was simply to create a vulgar game, and I thought it would be more fun for the gameplay to be a failure. But honestly, I just wish people would forget about the game once and for all. But that's the thing. Hong Kong 97 will never be forgotten. This quirky mess of a game has successfully cemented itself into online culture, and will, for the foreseeable future, go down as one of the worst video games ever made, with one of the darkest game over screens in history.
Alright, yeah,
Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I love you all. And good night.
Cool. Okay, well that was, yeah, that was an interesting story. We'll let the music play, I guess. And he presented it very well. Very well presented. He's got that great voice for it. Like, I mean, in terms of content, I don't know if this was, like, quite as crazy as some of the other mysteries we've looked at, like the Kanye Quest one or stuff like that, but still interesting. Because, I mean, it did have, like, a pretty straightforward answer to it. It was featured in this video that the guy probably saw. Footage from Bosnia. Yeah, it all made sense, and then we tied up all the loose ends, I suppose, for the most part. And his response to the fame of the mystery makes a lot of sense. I mean, this is just something he made as a troll post, basically, and now people are like obsessing over it. So it's probably good. I mean, he probably didn't even remember where he found the image. That's the thing, I would imagine. If it's just something that he took from some random video that he saw, just to have a, like, shock image in the game, then it's doubtful he even really knew the exact source. Which probably just made people digging into it a bit more unfortunate on his end. But yeah, interesting to know about this game, and the one thing that kind of surprises me is that people cared enough about this game to, like, put it on the nerds' radar. Like, I guess because it's a different sort of environment now. I mean, when someone made something like this then, when this came out, it was a bigger deal than nowadays, when anyone could literally just make a game and upload it and have it be whatever, and no one cares. But if it was made back in the day, then people do care, sadly. So I guess that's what it is. But yeah, this was cool. Definitely enjoyed the video. Hope you guys liked the reaction. Let me know if you did, and see you in the next one.